In the early 1980s, someone anonymously delivered an 8-inch thick package of documents containing information and membership lists for the Skull and Bones Society to a college professor named Antony Sutton. Sutton reported that he didn't understand exactly what the information was when he initially flipped through it, and it sat for almost 2 years before he looked through it again when he noticed that it read like a who's who of the establishment. Going through the sheets, it was more than obvious this was no ordinary group, he wrote. The names spelled power with a capital P. As I probed each individual, a pattern emerged, and a formerly fuzzy world became crystal clear. It would later be revealed that the source of the documents was Charlotte Iserby, whose father was in Skull and Bones, and she obtained them from his estate after he passed away, where she found them. She would also later publish The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. Sutton's book, America's Secret Establishment, The Introduction to the Order of Skull and Bones, was originally published in 1983 and was the first book on the subject to come into print. In the preface to the 2002 edition, which I own, he says that while the book had received little publicity, few reviews, ignored by mainstream distributors, yet it's sold steadily for the past 16 years at the rate of several hundred copies a month. Antony Sutton was a research fellow at the Hoover Institution. He was a former economics professor at the California State University in Los Angeles, born originally in London. He passed away in 2002 at the age of 77. Sutton was not a Christian fundamentalist or a conspiracy theorist like many try to label people who are interested in subjects like the Skull and Bones or the Illuminati. His book is an entirely secular and scholarly approach to the subject. It includes reprints from old articles and pamphlets, including one titled The Fall of Skull and Bones, which is a document detailing an illegal break-in by a group of students in 1878 who literally broke into the Skull and Bones headquarters and then published their story, their newsletter about what happened and spread it around campus. Sutton wrote, quote, "The activities of the order are directed towards changing our society, changing the world, to bring about a new world order. This will be a planned order with heavily restricted individual freedom, without constitutional protections, without national boundaries or cultural distinction." That's pretty fascinating considering this book was written in 1983, and everything that he said is now coming to fruition. Just a fascinating read. Quote, "The selection procedure for new members of the order has not changed since 1832. Each year 15, never more, never fewer, are selected. In the past 150 years, about 2,500 Yale graduates have been initiated into the order. At any one time, 500 to 600 are alive today. Roughly about 1/4 of these take an active role in furthering the objectives of the order. The others either lose interest or change their minds. They are silent dropouts. A Yale junior cannot ask to join. There is no electioneering. Juniors are invited to join and are given 2 options, accept or reject. Apparently some amount of personal information is gathered on potential members." He goes on to say entry into the order is accompanied by an elaborate ritual, no doubt by psychological conditioning. For example, immediately upon entering the bones, as it's called, the neophyte, as they are called, has their name changed. He is no longer known by his name as it appears on his college catalog, but like a monk or a knight of Malta, he becomes Knight so-and-so. The old knights then are known as a patriarch so-and-so. The outside world is known as Gentiles and Vandals. Through his research, Sutton realized the extent of the Skull and Bones' influence on society in their quest to build a new world order. He said, quote, "The order has either set up or penetrated just about every significant research, policy, opinion-making organization in the United States, in addition to the church, business, law, government, and politics. Not all at the same time, but persistently and consistently enough to dominate the direction of American society. The evolution of American society is not, and has never been, for a century, a voluntary development reflecting individual opinion, ideas, and decisions at the grassroots. On the contrary, the broad direction has been created artificially and stimulated by the order. It's impossible not to see the striking similarities between the goals of the Bavarian Illuminati and those of Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was founded in 1832 by William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft. Russell returned from a trip to Germany immediately preceding the creation of Skull and Bones. This was also the time period, where Adam Weishaupt had created the Illuminati in Germany. And it's no stretch of an imagination to see that Russell was granted permission and given instructions on how to expand the Illuminati in America. Many admit that this was, in fact, the case. Another piece of evidence supporting this is that members of the File and Claw Society, or the other students who broke in 1876 and wrote the newsletter, reported that they saw a card placed in a frame that hung in the wall, which read, "From the German Chapter." Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new. Check out some of the previous videos in the playlist. You can pick up a copy of America's Secret Establishment, probably from Amazon.com. You can pick up one of my books, of course, or download them onto your tablet or e-reader. And stay tuned. There's more videos coming soon.